Let the stillness carry me. Let the essence carry me. How often have we heard and perhaps sung those words, and how rarely have we needed to rely on them? If we're very fortunate, the hymn "Find a Stillness" can provide a calming interlude in the midst of a busy life. It's an invitation to let go for a brief time. But it may not be something we return to very often, not at least when life is going well and we feel in control and able to direct the course of our days. We may enjoy and appreciate the hymn "Find a Stillness" and its message, but we may not know we need it. That is, until we find ourselves in a time of deep uncertainty, crisis, or tragedy. That is to say, a time like right now. In the past several weeks, as I've been talking with so many of you, the theme of powerlessness has come up again and again. We are moving together through what Walt Whitman called an unknown region, where neither ground is for the feet nor any path to follow. Sometimes the feelings of powerlessness have been spoken of directly. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm so afraid of what might happen. I wish I could do more to help. Other times it's come out in indirect ways, in irritation, frustration, even outright anger, or perhaps a heightened desire to control in whatever way we can. I should point out that I'm going through all of these things as well. One of the most interesting aspects of this experience is that we're all going through it at the same time, while also we're bringing our personal challenges into the picture. The mosaic of faces we see on Zoom shows us exactly that. We're all going through this together, and yet we're going through it in our own place and in our own way. If we could all find a stillness, though, a stillness that resides within each of us and that holds all of us at the same time, imagine how our experience might be transformed. There's no question that this is a profoundly unsettling time, even for those among us who do enjoy time alone and who so far have maintained some degree of control and personal direction over our daily lives. Even if you still have a job, though, you may be expected to do it in a completely different way, with unfamiliar tools, in an unusual workspace, perhaps with children needing to have your attention at the same time. If you're suddenly out of work, financial insecurity may be top of mind for you. If you're retired, the activities that give your life structure and meaning may be suddenly absent. If you are providing essential services, such as healthcare or food, you may be fearful for your own safety, or if you have loved ones who are also working on the front lines, you may feel powerless over their well-being. Meanwhile, no matter what our particular circumstance, we all share a sense of powerlessness over the virus itself and the tragedy that is unfolding all over the world. Even if we're doing all the right things when it comes to social distancing and self-isolation, we're likely to feel a sense of powerlessness today. We need to find a way to carry on through what Walt Whitman called an inaccessible land. And we may need to find a way to be carried. One of the most familiar passages in the Hebrew Bible is "Be still and know that I am God." The original meaning before it was translated was probably more like "Be still and know that I am," or simply "Be still and know." Language itself is always imperfect. It's been said that it cannot help but divide and separate. That's why all concepts and descriptions of any kind of higher power tend to fall short. And why words such as mystery or being itself can be very helpful. Even the words stillness and essence have a universal quality to them that points beyond language towards something more embracing and deeply known by us all. When we tap into that deep stillness, both within and around us, the essence of life that connects us all in love, we may find ourselves supported in a way that helps us carry on, and in a way that can carry us through whatever may come. Sean told that lovely story last Sunday about the young girl learning to float, and how we too can learn to be carried by the water of life. I'm sure we've all heard that lesson before, expressed in modern stories and in ancient ones. I'm reminded of that familiar advice to learn to be a human being rather than a human doing. Perhaps right now we are called to understand that in a new and deeper way, to learn to simply be when we can no longer do in the ways we are accustomed to. Even those of us who are actively engaged in new projects, assisting others through this crisis, or continuing to be busy in our work lives, well, we too may be feeling powerless today. Powerless over the behavior of others, whether they're public officials or people in our friends groups or families. Powerless over the virus itself and the extent of suffering it may cause. We may feel at times stymied by technology, something that can do so much for us, yet is never foolproof, and that always will fall short of human connection that we long for in this time. We may be unable to change many difficult circumstances in our lives that were with us before this crisis began to unfold. And finally, we may feel powerless at times over our own emotions, finding ourselves overcome by grief, fear, sadness, or anger, and other emotions as well at any time. Acknowledging our powerlessness can be the first step toward making peace with what is, for all of us, an undeniably difficult situation. It can allow us to be carried into the moment and to find some equilibrium, which may be the most valuable asset each of us can offer right now. That small measure of peace of mind, even if it's momentary, can allow us to take action in the ways that we can, to make the unique contribution that each of us can make, and to change our own situation in clear and manageable ways. The Serenity Prayer, written by theologian Reinhold Niebuhr in the late 30s, can be helpful. I recently learned that it was likely written as part of a sermon, and I dare say he knocked it out of the park if he wrote it as part of a sermon. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All around the world, and all at the same time, millions and millions and millions of people are being faced today with things we cannot change. Putting it another way, many of the things we could change just a few weeks ago, we cannot change today. This is a shock on a massive scale, a collective trauma as we've never known. Yet if we come to know that the way to wisdom is not upward and outward, but also inward and downward, in and down toward the essence that is ever present within us, we have a remarkable opportunity right now to learn to live differently, to let go of what is truly non-essential, what is not of the essence, to let our love be greater than our fear, to find a stillness wherever we are and let it carry us, knowing that we are part of something so much larger than we can control, and yet to be alive, to be even a small part of all that is unfolding, is a truly extraordinary gift. As we listen to the melody of Find a Stillness again, let us pause to reflect on its message, as we consider how we might find a stillness and seek the essence of life as we carry on in our own way, today, and in all days to come.